Kai Havertz looked quite good, didn't he, when he came on? And that is what we're going to talk about in the player ratings as well as every other player. Arsenal beat Portsmouth 4-1 and pretty much cruised into the next round. It looked like it could be a nervy game when we went, 1-0 down after 2-3 minutes. But to be fair, the rotation was good from Arteta. I think largely everyone looked pretty good or played to at least an acceptable level. Bar maybe one or two that we'll talk about, but we'll go through that. And look, Arsenal, like I said, have put their place in the next round, gave minutes to Kai Havertz, which was needed. Others who we were kind of looking at thinking, can you step up, did in some way, shape or form. So look, ultimately a good day's work. We're going to talk about this here, as we always do with the player rankings. And we get all your thoughts as we do this live as well. Apologies that a match reaction isn't out yet. That will be out a little bit later because we're going to wait till the draw, find out who we got next, and react to both in one go. All right, should we go through it? Should we talk player ratings? I'm going to do something a little bit different to what I normally do. Okay. I didn't realize I could show you the full screen like that. But anyway, we'll keep it like this. There we go. I'm going to do something different to how I normally do this. I'm actually going to work backwards. I think the conversation around the attackers is more interesting, and we're going a slightly weird order, so forgive me. But I'm going to work backwards, which is, like I said, not how I'd normally do it. I just think there's lots to cover, and I think the Kai Havertz appearance was really, really interesting. Let's start by going through the attackers in general. Actually, we are going to work backwards. Let's do it. I'm going to start. Now I'm doubting whether I'm going to do it. Let's do it. Let's start with the attackers. We'll go Gabby Jesus. I thought Gabby Jesus was good today. Now, he might on another day have been classed as very good, but I actually thought the first 30 minutes he really struggled. And basically, to be honest, I don't think he played very well at all in that first 30 minutes. But I think he really came to life after that. He started to show some real quality towards the end of the first half. And then that ball across goal for Martinelli to get his second and the third goal of the night was a brilliant, brilliant ball across the box from Gabby Jesus. It was really excellent. And actually, that minute from minute 30 to minute 65, 70, once he came off, I thought he looked really, really good, was knitting play together, was dribbling and carrying past players, just making things happen, and looked a lot more involved. For the first 30 minutes, he didn't do a lot, and the few times he did get the ball, I just thought he wasn't really involved. So I'm going to give Gabby Jesus a good rating. I thought ultimately, for the 65 to 70 minutes he played, I thought he was good. A lot of you agreeing with that as well. Great assist, but would that prevail in the Premier League? Says Guru Parath. Hope I pronounced that correct. I think that kind of pass you can execute in the Premier League. I mean, he's, I think, the only striker of the three who can provide that kind of pass across goal. I think he's better than Kai Havertz and Gyökeres at picking out that kind of inventive, creative pass. So, I think to show that was really important, but in front of goal didn't look a major threat. So, I'm going to stick with, the kind of working backwards rule. And actually, I'm going to go into Kai Havertz quite quickly because immediately the conversation becomes about these two players. And Kai Havertz, I thought looked very good when he came on. I have to say, I thought he looked very good when he came on, Kai Havertz. The ball stuck to his feet really well. He was turning players. He played a lovely ball through the lines to Noni Madueke and put him through on goal. He just looked like he understood the role. He was also drifting to the right more. Gyökeres doesn't drift to the right that much. He did against Liverpool and he fed it through to Timber. But otherwise, he doesn't really do that. He tends to be more left-leaning. Kai Havertz came over to that side, linked up play nicely. Nearly got a goal, maybe two. But there was definitely one where he had a shot blocked in the 93rd minute before the full-time whistle went. So, he's getting into areas where he can get chances. But I just thought everything looked so tidy and neat from Kai Havertz. Another bit of link-up play where he dropped in, got the ball, turned, and then just kind of played it, I think, into Ødegaard or into our midfield. I can't remember. It was a really, really, really bright, positive showing from Kai. Now, I think there's a few things we need to do before we go too far. It was against a championship opposition. Gyökeres has thrived in the championship, so I don't think we need to sort of say, well, Gyökeres wouldn't have done that. Well, Gyökeres has shown he can more than score goals at this level respectfully to Portsmouth. So I don't think it proves that much. But at the same time, would Gyökeres have come on and shown those deft little touches, played that pass, linked up the play as well as Kai Havertz? No, I don't think he would have. I don't think he would have done as good a job or looked as natural and silky as Kai did doing it. And I don't think he'd have shown the shimmy and the drop of the shoulder or got the assist that Gabby Jesus did. So that's why I really want to start with these two players, because they showed something in very different ways that I don't think Gyökeres brings. Having said that, we didn't see, channel running, bashing defenders out the way, really attacking the penalty area in the way that we expect Victor Gyökeres should be able to do, but we haven't seen for weeks. So it was really interesting seeing those two get the minutes shared. Gyökeres essentially be left on the bench in a game where I actually think a lot of people would have started Gyökeres. I think a lot of people would have said, yep, give Victor the minutes. He needs it. He needs some, regular minutes in the legs essentially and a bit more rhythm. He needs a goal for confidence. But Arteta said no, he's had his minutes, he's been playing a lot, and I'm giving those minutes to Jesus and Havertz. And you could play Havertz in midfield and still bring on Gyökeres. You could play Jesus on the wing and still start Gyökeres. That's not the way he wanted to go, which, is that interesting? Maybe not, but it's just an observation. For Chelsea, I would go with one of these two on screen now. I would go with one of Havertz or Jesus, and keep resting Gyökeres and start giving him minutes off the bench and sort of, begin the rotational process and start figuring out, well, who's looking best? Who is looking like the player, most likely to grab that spot between now and the end of the season? Let's see what you're all rating Kai Havertz in the comments. Havertz, very good. Come on, my goat, says Neo Semper. Havertz, comfortably our best striker, says Jamal. Havertz has been out for a year, says Neo Semper. Yeah, you're right. He played 1 month in 2025. You're right. Arteta has thrown Gyökeres under the bus, says Sachs. So I don't think he has. That's not fair. Gyökeres hasn't done anywhere near enough to have earned minutes in this game. People choose to ignore 23-24. Havertz, I talk about that version of him before. And also, it's not really 23-24. I think it's more, if we're being really honest. Neo Semper, if Gyökeres between now and the end of the season cooks and is absolutely brilliant, he'll have done as much for Arsenal as Kai Havertz. Let's be honest about that. Kai Havertz I give him January 2024 to October 2024. And obviously there's a couple, 2-3 months off there without playing Premier League football. So that's what I give him in terms of his best form for Arsenal. We need to build Havertz up carefully, says Annie Rude. We've got to take our time. I agree. Cool. Okay, Forder says, this is promising to hear. Thanks for the update, James. Hope everyone's safe from Storm Goretti. Okay, yeah, absolutely. And, were you able to catch the game, Forder? I don't know if you were able to catch it, but everyone go subscribe to Forder. E.T. says, Havertz looks solid, somewhat conservative in movement to save energy and pace himself, he asks. Yeah, maybe. But that's a good thing. You can stay more central. Okay, cool. With all that, I think I've sort of now essentially lost my reason for why I decided to go this forwards first. But I still think the conversation around them's more interesting. So let's go into the rest, and we'll carry on with the first 11. Noni Madueke, I thought was good. Look, he does miss the penalty. That can happen. Irritating. He does the, waiting for the keeper to move thing and then puts it wide. Bit frustrating. But he wins the penalty. I thought he looked quite bright. The only thing I will say, he loses the ball too easily for the opening goal for Portsmouth. Now I think a bit happens after that. I think Marina could get closer to the cutback. I think we do better to stop the cross. I think Kepa could push it out. So I think the blame is shared amongst quite a few players. I don't know if giving the ball to Madueke there was the best idea in the first place, but I'd have to watch it back to recheck that. But I actually thought Madueke was quite good. I imagine this is a game in which a lot of people would say, no, he was frustrating. End product wasn't there. Sure, I hear it. But I thought he was a threat throughout. Like I said, won the penalty. I don't think he should have taken it. I was in a pub watching it with my friend Ola, and I said I don't think Madueke, when he was stepping up, I said, I don't know why he's taking it. I've seen Jesus do more from the spot, and could Eze, for example, who's a brilliant ball striker. I'm not sure why Noni took it, but whatever, he missed. Other than that, I thought he was quite good. Chaitanya said Madueke was a Constant threat all game. George says Madueke good, shocking penalty, but argument he can start the odd game in the league. Yeah, I agree. Birmingham Gunner says Noni was good, but that penalty was atrocious. Yeah, I agree. Very poor end product, says Alt the 777. Yeah, cool. Cool, I think we all agree with that. Fine. Then we go to, therefore, Martinelli, who I think you have to put down as brilliant simply because he got a hat-trick. It's so funny. I actually thought his overall game wasn't great. He didn't beat his fullback, really. I think he tried to show some trickery in the wide areas that didn't come off. However, he got a hat-trick. He was on the end, and he could have had more. I mean, he was at the heart of all our best attacks. The first goal, he wins the flick on at the near post. I mean, that might be missed. That yes, he scored 2 goals from being at the near post, but actually his flick on leads to the equaliser 7 minutes in, which was really important for us. Because I think if we go to minute 25, 30 without getting an equaliser quite quickly, it becomes a very frustrating kind of, labour-intensive game. And what I mean by that is Arsenal are just working the ball side to side, working hard, and actually not really having a lot to show for it. I don't think we carved Portsmouth open time and time again. I think we did it quite a few times, but I don't think we were relentlessly having strikes on goal. So getting the equaliser quite quickly was important, and Marseille plays a big part in that. Then, of course, from the header, he gets one back at the near post to put us 2-1 up. What happens after that? The third he puts away at the back post, again, does well. He actually hits the post from a similar ball across the box that I think, to be fair, bounced a bit unkindly off the deflection. He puts it onto the post and then obviously gets his third. So Martinelli was brilliant simply for the hat-trick. I don't think his overall performance was probably more good to very good, but, when you're having that big a hand in the goals, I'm super, you can only be super happy with that, really. And to do it in a week in which there have been a lot of criticism and a lot of eyes on him after what happened with, the whole Conor Bradley thing. Obviously, it came out today that Bradley's out for the season. We wish him well, and it's a real shame. But Martinelli has copped a lot of heat for that. He's, a lot of people have been super critical. I think a lot of media have wanted to just stick the knife in, where Arne Slot, praised by Mikel Arteta, by the way, and Dominic Szoboszlai came out and actually really diffused the situation. And I think they dealt with that tremendously, representing Liverpool Football Club brilliantly in the way they dealt with that. And, I think that should all be put to bed. But I think in a week that Martinelli would probably want to forget, he's ultimately gone and got a hat-trick that will make it a lot more memorable for him. So good on him. I had to be reminded that Eze was on the pitch, says Andrew. We're going to talk about him very, very soon. But I think you all agree with Martinelli. Sound Parlour says Martinelli, very good. Max, I think, Emirates agrees he was brilliant. I think we've got to stick with. Brilliant. Oh yeah, Madueke also got 2 assists. Oh yeah. I'm tempted to go back on this and move Madueke up to... Wait, you all can't see my screen, can you? Huh. My screen is frozen for you guys. Can you all see Madueke moving? You can't. That's really strange. Sorry, everyone, having a bit of a technical issue here. Let me see if I can disconnect and reconnect this. Apologies. Huh. So basically, you all can't see that I'm trying to move Madueke up into the... No, okay, all right. So I think my screen share might have had a faulty moment. So let's disconnect that for a sec and see if we can reconnect it. Apologies for that. Okay. Is that fixed? No. Oh, how weird. Okay. I don't know why this is doing this. Okay, everyone. I think we're just going to have to power on with the stream. I don't know what's gone on here. I don't know why this is struggling so much. Because it's moving on my screen, but you guys can't see it. Sorry, everyone. This is the issue with lives, is sometimes things can go wrong. And at the moment, we're having a real issue with Yeah, having a real issue with the tactical pad. All right, well, I think what I'm going to do then, I'll power on with the rest of the rankings. We'll do them quite quickly now. The main thing I wanted to talk about was Kai Havertz. But yeah, sorry. And now I can see that the frame rate's dropping. So there we go. It's all happening. Okay. Everyone, apologies for that. We'll just fly through the rest of the players. Madueke, yeah, I'll probably move up to very good. I think we'll consider him very, very, very good because I had him originally as good, but you're right, I got 2 assists as well. So okay, gonna have to do this from memory. So, for anyone jumping in right now, apologies that the screen's not working. I'm trying to gather my thoughts here. We had Jesus as what did we have? What mess of a live stream. We had Jesus as good. We had Martinelli as brilliant. We had Havertz as very good. We had Madueke as very good for ultimately winning the penalty, the 2 assists, always a threat. Cool. Eze, I would put down as poor, if I'm honest. I expected more from Eze. I don't think he was... I thought he really struggled to impose himself on the game. One shot that asked a question to the keeper, but otherwise... distinct lack of creativity. I thought he was struggling to, to dribble, to show some guile, to beat players, to thread neat passes. I don't think it was really happening for Eze at all. And, he's probably not going to start on against Chelsea in the week. He's probably not going to start till Kairat. He won't start Forest away. So he's going through a real bit of a lull now, Eze. I'm not worried about him, but... That was a pretty concerning performance. A lot of you agree. Some of you saying he was meh. Some of you saying looked better towards the end. Yeah, but James, isn't fair on him to play that Erdegaard role when he just can't. See what happened last 10 minutes of the game. He got so much more involved. Look, I think he's a left winger. That was from AFCG. I think he's a left winger personally. And it goes back to that super chat. Andrew says, I had to be reminded that Eze was on the pitch. Okay, yeah, Eze, am I worried about him? No. He'll come good. He's just going through a bit of a iffy patch, but that's fine. Others have stepped up in his absence. Waneri, I thought was great. I would probably give him a rating of very good. I thought Waneri did some really nice stuff. Some really, looked after the ball well, played some really neat passes, was knitting the play together, carried at times quite well, showed some really nice little moments of intricacy around the penalty area. I thought Waneri did well. What would you all give Waneri as a rating? I think very good is probably fair. I don't think he was brilliant. He didn't leave with a goal or an assist or a moment like that. It's funny because Madueke was destroying his fullback, gets 2 assists, and I was hesitant to give him very good. I put him under good. But I think Madueke was a bit frustrating, clearly at fault for the goal in some way, shape or form. Whereas Waneri, I thought, was consistently just kind of very good throughout. Don says Waneri is our most direct ball carrier. Waneri was good tracking back as well. Yeah, he did some very good stuff defensively. Burmy agrees Waneri was very good. He looked sharp. And Kyle says he grew into the game. Let's go to Marino. I don't know what you're all going to say. Don't laugh in my face. I thought Marino was brilliant. There, I said it. I thought Marino was brilliant. I think maybe he loses the guy on the shot that leads to the goal. Maybe that's the only drawback. But I thought defensively, swept up brilliantly. He was often covering in the channels, dealing with cutbacks, getting back into the box to defend. I thought he was great in possession. I thought he did really good. Yeah, I had him down as brilliant. What did you... Marino brilliant, says Don. Marino very good, says AFC. He was incredible. A lot of you agreeing. Good. I mean, he played in a very... I loved M9 today, says Carl. I'm so glad a lot of you agree. I thought he was really good in that deeper role. And that bodes really well for wanting to play him deeper in a double pivot at times. Yeah, it was really good to see. Really happy for him. He was asked to do an incredibly different role. Basically the 6. Sit in front while Waneri and Eze go and perform. And I thought he did it brilliantly. I was really, really impressed with Marino. was very good as a 6, says Sound Parlour. I agree. Mourinho was top. Cool. He was fantastic, super creative. He played some lovely cutting balls, didn't he, through the lines. Really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed him. Well done, Mourinho. To play basically a brand new role to that level, fair play. And it's not a brand new role. Like, if you've watched his career, and I like to think I've dabbled in a bit of research when it comes to that, from Dortmund to Newcastle to Sociedad, he is someone who can play deeper, who's got the technical quality, awareness. He's just maybe not quite got up to speed at the Premier League level, but this season certainly looked a lot better at it. So yeah, fair play to him in midfield. I thought he was great. Okay, we're moving back into the defence now. Lewis Skelly. Lovely pass to Jesus that leads to the third goal. Quick thinking, executes it nicely. Very inventive, very creative little pass. And obviously we go 3-1 up from it. But otherwise, I thought he was poor. Caught out, beaten a few times, gets a yellow card. Not really inverting and doing the kind of things you expect him to do. Poor crossing. I'm so sorry, Miles. I'm just being honest. I really hope the Mark Gahey stuff is true, so that we can now finally develop Lewis Skelly into a long-term midfield option. I think he's exactly what we need in midfield in terms of the type of profile, age, and everything that we need. And we can have Calafiores and Nkapie as our 2 left backs for good. That's what I would want to see for Miles and his development. Apparently it's 2-0 Brighton. That's hilarious. 40 says the yellow card was harsh. I didn't think it was, but I couldn't watch it back and see. Lewis Skelly struggled for most of the game, but that pass to Jesus was class as Birmingham. Yeah, I agree. I think that's probably a fair assessment. So admittedly, I'd have him down as poor. And it's interesting because I've not really put anyone down as not great yet. I've got Lewis Skelly and Eze as poor, and everyone else in front as basically good or better. But that's just realistically how I saw it. Gabriel. What would you give Gabriel? A reminder of the rating system, if I can get it on screen. Should we give this another go? Should give this one more go. Why not? Please work. Is it working? I'm waiting to see. No? Okay. Are we in? No, we're not. All right. Well, anyway, those are the... Yeah, that's the ranking system. Would Gabriel be... A lot of you saying good, very good. Gabriel was great. I'll be so honest. I'd have him as good. I don't think I'd have him as very good. I don't know that he really sort of stood out to me today, if I'm totally honest. I'd have him as good. Yeah. Okay, so I'm not going crazy. Some of you... Oh, wow. Okay, this is so interesting. When a lot of you were putting good, very good, I thought, all right, well, I'll agree on good. But I didn't think he stood out majorly or did that much great. I think it's kind of a default good. But a lot of you are saying not good, not great at all today, says Mo Powers. He did okay, but by Gabriel's standard, not great. It's so funny. Was Norgard better than Gabriel today? No. But was Norgard, as a backup central midfielder, squad player, dropping into centre-back, doing a job, better than Gabriel? Well, then yes. So I'd have Norgard as good and Gabriel as good to not great. I'll settle on good. I can't say he wasn't great because he wasn't really troubled. I can't blame him for the goal. Nothing else really happened that went wrong. But I'll have him as good. But yeah, I don't think he was on the ball really slappy. Not good. Some of you saying Norgard was excellent. Yes, he was, says Chaitanya. Really, you think Norgard? I mean, I guess Norgard, to be fair, to play that part in the goal. I'll tell you what. I'll agree on Gabriel being not great and Norgard good. We'll land on that. So annoying that this has stopped working. We've run this stream quite a few times. I don't know what's gone wrong, but hey ho, it's having a moment. That's fine. Right back, Ben White. Weird game. plays a brilliant ball into the box, did some brilliant defending, but also got done a few times, got a yellow card. I would say White was not great, if I'm really honest. I think by Ben White standard, if we're doing that with Gabriel, I think Ben White was not great. I think he did fine. There were some moments of quality, but I didn't love what we saw from Ben White today. But it was about minutes in the legs and seeing some encouragement, and we saw that. I love you saying Ben White good. Ben White had a very Ben White game today, says Kyle. Yeah, I agree with that. A lot of you saying meh, cool. We can move it on. Bit rusty, I agree. And then we go to Kepa in goal, who I thought made some good saves, but I think he could push that effort out a bit better, if I'm honest. It kind of lands straight where it shouldn't. So, what would you give Kepa? I think I'm tempted to say Kepa was... I'll let you all vote. A lot of you saying Ben White was good, Ben White was okay. Go on, you have the vote on Kepa. You have the vote on Kepa and we'll move it on quite quickly. Kepa was odd. That's quite a good way to put it. Shaky in the first half. Birmingham says Benny Blanco was good but got tired at the end of the game, made some unnecessary challenges. Kepa was not good, not great. Cool, I'll agree, not great for Kepa. I think he did fine at best. Cool. All right. Well, we're going to round it off there because I know the United game's going on. The subs, just very quickly. Erdegaard, good. We've touched on Kai Havertz. Who else came on? Marley Salmon looked good. I'd say very good when he came on. I thought he slotted in really nicely. Timber, I thought, looked very good. Centre-back and right-back. So Havertz, Erdegaard, Salmon, Timber and Zubimendi is unmarkable, isn't he? Because he didn't play very well. All right, everyone, we're going to leave it there. Let me first apologise for the lack of match reaction that's out. That will be out when the draw's done. Let me also apologise for the frame rate dropping a little bit. We're having production issues today. I'm so sorry. And the fact that the screen share isn't working, which is obviously a big part of why we do this the way we do this. So sorry about that. We're going to round it off there. The player ratings, much more of an audio experience this than a visual one. Not how I want to do it, but sometimes it gets like that. Thank you all for joining. Appreciate you all tuning in. I'll be back with the match reaction and the cup draw on Goonerverse News in a bit. Don't believe there'll be a video tomorrow unless anything massive happens. But on Tuesday, we'll do an analysis piece around Kai Havertz and looking ahead to Chelsea as well. So plenty to come here on the Goonerverse. Big thanks. Catch you all in a bit.